What a way! What? That is the best way to open Ziggy. A massive, big Ziggy laugh. Well, welcome to Breakfast with the Attwoods, number 14. And
is that what we're at?
yeah, Ziggy is enjoying. Ziggy, do you want some? He's been enjoying this. So, oh, it's dripping off his chin. Do you want some, Ziggy?
No.
Leaning away now. He's gone shy. Now he's on camera. So, Ziggy was aggressively eating his mush.
It's porridge with apples.
Porridge with apples. But now he's noticed we're live. Come on, Ziggy, do you want some? Do you want some?
You say no.
Do you want some, love?
No. He likes to play with these coasters with dogs.
Throws them all over the floor.
Come here.
Do you want some mash?
What's Ellie
Ziggy?
done?
Do you want some mash? Oh.
I'll feed him in a minute.
So, good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Blue Nomad, Kaza, Nikki. Hey, you grabbing Daddy? You grabbing me? You getting me? You getting me? You getting me, Ziggy? Just more of this? Just more of this? I'm gonna eat some. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. You think that's funny? Yum, 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 yum. Ziggy, you want some? Ziggy, you want some? Stop eating your fingers. Almost, almost. Ziggy, you want some?
No.
Oh.
You'll have some in a minute.
We've got some funny stories, and we went to a wedding. Do you want to get here, Jess? And then I'll cut the grapefruit.
Right. I'll get there.
Yeah, I'll chop the grapefruits up.
Fantastic. Good morning, everyone. Oh, I forgot to cover myself up there. I looked a bit desperate housewife. But
There's a funny story about an old man who needed his shoelaces tying.
no, I wouldn't really say this is a funny story. It makes it sound like we've got a really mundane life. But I was walking down the high street. I don't know why it's funny, honestly. I was walking down the high street where we lived the other day, minding my own business, and pushing Ziggy in his pram. And I just heard this old voice say, "Tie my shoe," but really loud and aggressive. He was like, "Tie my shoe." I looked up because I was, for some reason, looking at the ground, and there was this old man there, and it's just signalling to me to tie his shoe. And I mean, I thought it was a bit odd. He didn't say please or thank you.
What do he look like to?
If I had to profile him for the police, I'd say he was in his either late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Not a very tall man. Like,
Kaz is wondering if he looked like a flasher.
no. He could easily be mistaken for someone who hides in the bushes in parks, in trench coats. But no, so he proceeded to say, "Tie my shoe," and then I was like, "Excuse me," and he's like, "Tie my shoe." So I thought, sorry, I bent down, tied his shoe. How you would tie anyone a shoe like Ziggy's, a child shoe. Got back up, expecting to just carry on, and he was like, "No, do it again. Do a double knot. Tie my shoe." So I was quite frightened at this point because I thought, like, all those thoughts start running through your head, like, is he a child snatcher trying to distract me to take Ziggy's? Oh, I mean, that's probably my paranoid mother thought. Is someone's going to run along and snatch Ziggy, or is this man genuinely cannot tie his own shoelaces?
Didn't you feel like you're in a vulnerable position?
I didn't like
close
it.
to him? Could he have grabbed you or something?
Yeah, I mean, it was a busy road.
Yeah.
So I didn't think, oh, this is like kidnapped.
Yeah.
Like in, what is it, Liam
Hostage.
Neeson film?
Taken,
yeah. I thought, right, just tie his shoelaces and move on. So I did a double knot, and carried on with my day. And I told Sean later that evening, after my near-death experience, which I'll talk about shortly, and I said, "Oh, today's just been a really weird day. Someone demanded that I tied their shoelaces when I was out in town." And yeah, there's a lot of bizarre folk around here. I kind of want him to get you now, because I think he goes along the high street asking people to tie his shoes.
There's a guy on the high street who looks like Charles Manson, who sits out by the church. But there was an NDE. In Jen's mind, there was an NDE.
Oh, a near-death experience, yeah.
Let me set the scene for this one. So we're all just walking to the grocery store. I'm pushing Ziggy in his buggy.
Thank God.
It's rush hour traffic, so the whole traffic system is gridlocked and stationary. Now, as you cross the road to go to the grocery store, the traffic's coming up the hill, so you look right, and you see it's all gridlocked, and you can safely cross the road with the baby. But Jen had marched off ahead of me, so I was looking right, and I saw Jen ahead of me, and she was looking completely left, and I think she had a false sense of security because she saw the traffic was gridlocked and didn't assume there would be anything else. Now, quite often there's a Deliveroo guy, or in this case...
But usually you can hear Deliveroo guys on their scooters, right? But no, next thing you know, I heard this large screeching of brakes.
I shouted, Jen.
I didn't hear that.
I thought that's what caught your attention.
That's when my life flashed before me.
I thought that's what got your attention. I thought I saved your life from this NDE.
No, because the tyres screeched in front of me, and there was just a guy all in lycra on his bike. Right. Don't get me started on cyclists anyway, because I really despise them. I'm sorry if anyone is a cyclist.
What if you was maybe cyclist?
I don't care. Right.
Oh.
You need your own lane. Stay in your own lane. Anyway, I've got a real thing. But because there are accidents waiting to happen, and when you've got anxiety like I do, and you're driving your car and there's two cyclists, right? And they can follow each other. No, because the times might get mixed up. They're finding time. So they have to go next to each other to at that overtaking phase, and you can't drive around them. And it's
or if you try, you're gonna crash.
Yeah. So anyway, I nearly died. This keen cyclist nearly plummeled into me and killed me. I said,
killed me.
He could have killed me. He was going really fast. Not very soon, but all I heard was the brakes. And then, he didn't even apologise. So I took offence to that, and I wasn't very happy for the foreseeable. And then it made me think about cyclists, and then I went on a rant about how I don't agree. If you are going to... Now, I used to have a moped growing up. So I owned a motorbike as such. And I always have the opinion that if you are going to go on the road like a car, you act like a car. So if there's traffic, you sit with traffic. I don't understand people who overtake in situations that are dangerous. And for example, that cyclist knew there was a pedestrian crossing at that point. Why wasn't he mindful? Amen. And cyclists are just very selfish people.
I then had to interject with the story of my situation one time.
Death experience. Oh my God. Apart from in Arizona jail.
Because I didn't get any sympathy when I told people my NDE. So what happened was, I was living in Guildford, and where I lived there was a pub, and you had to cross traffic lights to get to the Waitrose over the road. So obviously, if you're crossing over the road, you look right. I looked right. There was a load of people waiting to go on the road next to me, but they were just stood there. I looked right, there was no traffic, and I couldn't understand why they weren't crossing. I had my headset on really loud, and I stepped into the road to rush across it, and an ambulance that I hadn't seen that was coming down the road on the wrong side of the road brushed past my nose. Literally, if I'd have been a second further onto that road,
you'd have been brown bread.
It would have knocked me up into the sky, and I would have had some broken bones at the least. And I told people, and no one gave me any sympathy afterwards. So the bicyclist story with Jen was my perfect opportunity to share my ambulance story, which I think carried a much higher risk of NDE. Oh, and Derek Attwood is in the chat.
Oh, good morning, Derek. And so no, that was, is that your only near-death experience?
No, I've had about 10.
Didn't you say you're on your last lives?
We've got all my 9 lives, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
What was your scariest one?
Scariest one. I've had about half a dozen car crashes, and I've had about half a dozen situations on substances where I've gone unconscious and quite deadly. So
Ziggy's now noticed the camera.
Whatever I see.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into the substance ones because
your dad's in the chat.
Sean's had a lot of narrow escapes, says Derek Attwood.
Yeah.
Do that. Oh yeah, the Luncey Road car crash. Okay. This was one of my first car crashes. Actually, come to think of it, I think I've had over 10. So, I was at Widnes, it was called Widnes Sixth Form College back then. I was dating the captain of the women's hockey team.
I'm glad you said women's.
And she, my mate, Gassy, got his parents' car. We were, we're all excited, we were all just doing our driver's license test, that kind of thing. He just got his license. Now, she lived in the completely opposite direction of us, and I talked Gassy into giving her a drive home, even though it was very icy on the roads. So we got on Luncey Road, the three of us in the vehicle. A lorry was going very slow in front of us, so we started. Probably I started screaming, "Take him, Gassy! Take him! Take him!" So Gassy went to overtake this lorry on this icy road. The car completely spun out of control. It was literally, Jen, it was bouncing off curb to curb, this car now. Out of control. Bouncing off curb to curb. Like a
pinball machine.
Like a hockey puck on ice. And it ended up, it smashed into a wall, knocked the wall down, span off the wall, and ended half up a tree.
Right.
And all these people ran to the car and they were like, they could not believe we were still alive. That was just when I was a teenager. And that was the first of many car crashes. Poor Gassy's car, I think, got written off. When I was in America years later, he wrote to me. He was in Las Vegas, working in Las Vegas. And we reminisced about the car crash on Luncey Road.
Why was he called Gassy?
I can't remember.
Did he have a lot of gas or something?
No, it wasn't to do with flatulence.
Gassy, what was his surname?
Jen is flashing us.
No, I'm not. So you're nearly flashing us. No, I've got a t-shirt on under here, so it's just, yeah, no, you can't see anything like that. But no, I've had a few near-death experiences, obviously.
You have, Jen?
Yeah.
What's some of your craziest then?
I've been in a coma, haven't I? When I was I 19?
From what?
Oh, drugs.
Substances?
Yeah. Naughty stuff.
19?
Was I 19 or 20? Yeah, when I was in a coma for 3 days.
How did that feel?
in intensive care. It was awful, and that's why I don't touch the stuff.
Good for you.
Yeah. And the girl next to me died from those little pills. She was,
no.
I didn't know her, but she was 18, and she died from those little things that used to be distributed from Holland. And that was a massive lesson in life, a turning point. That's why I'm so angelic.
So angelic.
Yeah.
We have got 300 plus in the chat across all platforms right now. Good morning, wherever you are in the world. So, before the wedding then, my mum and dad were here. You guys may have joined us, some of you, for the one that my mum and dad were on at the weekend. After the breakfast with the Attwoods, we had a fantastic day, mum and dad, didn't we?
Oh yeah, what did we do? Oh yeah, we went to yoga. So we did, I love Sharon Campbell said, Daddy telling his stories again, Ziggy. I know, blow raspberries. Rubbish. We went to a curtain yoga night with Derek Barber and Sean and Ziggy. Ziggy loves them. Which is what Sean calls yoga raving. So we did that Saturday night, and then Sunday.
And how were we dancing, Jen? We were like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
See what I got put up with. I don't know whether anyone's noticed. Sean's decided to wear a shirt for today's show. I came downstairs and I was like, "What are you wearing a shirt?" And he said, "Oh, because it's cold." I don't know if he's jogging bottom, so I don't quite know the look he's got going on there. But
people can't see that they're jogging bottoms.
Well, I can now.
You've outed me.
Yeah, dad dancing, Nikki, correct.
Dad dancing.
That's yeah, Kazza, dad dancing. They're all commenting dad dancing because you are just like that. Well, you should have seen how he was dancing at the wedding. Sean cannot, full stop, cannot slow dance.
I had to speed things up.
He was like that, really awkward holding. You know when you do like the whole slow dance and two-step.
I can't slow dance. My brain doesn't
the
compute.
music, and he just
No elegance, no finesse.
Right. So if you ever did trap me and tie the knot, then the slow dance would be rather embarrassing for I think both of us.
We'd have to speed it up.
But
my dad's watching Wild Wild Country.
well, that's a great documentary.
One of Louis Theroux's favourite documentaries that Louis Theroux has watched, not that he's in.
Oh, back to the weekend. So, and then me and Sean's mum on the Sunday went for a sound bath, which was, do you know what? It's extraordinary. I felt like I was floating.
What is a sound bath, Jen? I mean, what happens?
Well, usually, I'd say more regular sound baths. I don't quite know because that was my first one, but they just go around with these bowls, dinging them and making loads of pretty noise, and you
Sound
vibe off
bowls?
the energy. Singing bowls, they're called.
Singing bowls.
Right. So they have singing bowls of all different sizes, and they go around and ding them, and everyone's lying on the floor, you know, your eyes are covered and really relaxed, and you're meant to vibe off the energy and cleanse your filthy soul. But this one, there was actually singing involved.
Ooh.
So there was, and it was...
Was it the woman from the night before?
Yeah, it was the woman from the night before.
She got a good voice.
Yeah, really nice. So it's not fat. You wouldn't like the tempo. It's too slow for you. I think you'd feel uncomfortable. But no, I think you'd enjoy it.
No.
So no, there was singing, there was other musical instruments involved, like a guitar, a triangle, and among other things, and obviously the singing bowls. And it went on for 2 hours. It was really, really nice, actually.
So you just laid out on the floor, like,
For 2 hours.
just listening to the music,
Yeah.
and you just going into a trance.
I felt like I was floating.
Look at you.
Yeah, I didn't go to sleep, but your mum did.
Would you say that you're on a natural high?
Yeah. Yeah, it was it was a natural high, so like feeling really buzzy. Sharon Campbell, Ziggy, you are in top form this morning. I haven't heard a word Mum and Dad have said as I'm watching you.
Oh.
I know, we should just do like
leave Ziggy on.
Like that. Ziggy, there you go. You're going to talk to the people. Are you waving? You waving?
Is he doing his gang signs?
Yeah. So, yes, perfect. I know, there you go, you can still see you. Oh, that mango is rank.
Just stripped all the best bits. I've just stripped all the best bits from that mango, Jen.
How old is it?
It's just a few days past the sell-by date.
Oh, man. Sean's got a real disgusting habit of keeping fruit past its sell-by date.
I just don't throw food away, I don't waste things.
No. Oh, the blue nomad said teach him to blow a kiss like that. Do you want a kiss? Zoom, zoom, zoom.
What about the story of Ziggy at K-Tan and they have a little baby?
Oh, you could tell that one. You're beautiful.
I'm just grabbing my cheesies.
He's grabbing his cheesies. So yeah, there was some little babies at this curtain event. I mean, does anyone in the chat, have you ever been to a curtain? You should listen to the frequency. Casimir said, Jen, you should listen to the frequency 1150 HZ for 5 minutes a day. What frequency is that? Because they've got all these different angel frequencies, Sean. I don't think I told you about this. These frequencies that you're meant to listen to like.
Well, I've got my seriously smooth brown noise.
It's not like seriously smooth brown noise. It's a certain frequency, obviously.
What about the frequency of delicious cherries?
So a curtain, Mr. Binks cat, is spelled Kirtan. So if you Google it, all right. Google curtain, you'll see some of the sort of dancing that goes on. It's basically musical yoga where you getting up dancing. What is it called? My mind isn't working this morning.
Kirtan.
Yeah, what do you do?
So it starts out, Kirtan starts out with a very slow music and call response chant.
Chant, that's it.
Where they say a mantra and then the audience repeats the mantra, but the music slowly gets faster and faster until by the end of it, everyone jumps up and they're all Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
That is exactly how Sean dances.
Look at Ziggy looking at him. He's like, what's Daddy doing?
Daddy's a nutter. Right. But no. So yeah, they're really good fun. I'd highly recommend anyone who fancies doing something a little bit different. I think the first time I went, I felt really embarrassed dancing because I do get embarrassed about things like that.
We've got a story about embarrassment in a minute that's coming up. That's our first wedding story.
So I get embarrassed about doing something out of the box. And strangely enough, I'm not shy at certain things, but then when it comes to like singing in front of people, I was really embarrassed because I've got a terrible voice. I sound like a bloke, but not like a good bloke. I sound really husky, don't I? I have not got a. I'm not talented. When I sing in the car, I actually got. When I passed my driving test, I got tonsillitis really bad. The first week of me passing my test because I was in the car on my own so much singing Beyonce If I Were a Boy. If anyone knows that song, there's so many high-pitched notes there. And I was singing it so loud that I gave myself tonsillitis.
What?
That's why I got my tonsils removed now.
Oh my goodness.
Through Beyonce. Cheers, Beyonce. So, yeah, it was really good. So, the story. Have you done the cheeses yet?
Right, the first wedding story. We do not yet have permission to say whose wedding we attended, but many of you know this person. And let's just say, when it comes to the timings of things at weddings, I'm not very hip to them, even though I had a few of my own, because mine weren't structured formally like this one was. So we were told
to be there at 2:30.
To get there at 2:30. Now, I was fully ready. I was a little bit peckish. I was actually thinking about just coming down here, getting some yogurt granola
Why didn't you?
and a coral bar. But Jen said she had to go to the high street to get
a scarf.
A scarf. And I said, well, if you're going to the high street, Jen, to get a scarf.
Which took me all of 2 minutes, right?
We'll get to that. If you're going to the high street, Jen, to get a scarf, why don't I just go in the fish and chips place? I'll get a chips and curry. And she said, yeah, that's a great idea, Sean. I'll have chicken nuggets.
I love chicken nuggets.
So I'm just setting the table before I become the villain of this story.
He is the villain.
Because Jen will pick it up from here.
Well, no. So I think you tell the story beautifully, but I'm just going to put it straight. So we had it. We were an hour from the venue where we live, and I knew that I wanted to pick up this pashmina scarf. So it's coming up to 1:30. We've got to be there for 2:30. I budgeted enough time that I could run into this shop, purchase said scarf, get to the car, and go. I do say, get to the car, and I'm like, where's Sean? So I ring his phone. I'm like, where are you? He's like, I'm in the fish and chip shop. I was like, wait, where's your fish and chips? We need to go. And he was like, oh no, I've sat and ordered them. I'm waiting for them. And then I said to him, Sean, we don't have enough time. We've got to go. Like, anyway, so he hung up the phone on me. So I decided to stomp down in a mood to the fish and chip shop and find him.
Hold on a second. So, in this fish and chip shop, they have like an indoor seating area where there's several seats and everyone can hear everyone else's conversations. You've got the well-mannered guy serving me, and then you've got like this old lady on a table with this man right next to me who've just listened to Jen put me on blast on the phone. You've got another party in there having a conversation, but everybody's heard now Jen screaming at me down the phone, and now she's about to make a dramatic entrance into the fish and chip shop.
No, so I walk in and he sat at the table and I'm like, well, how long is your fish and chips? Not only, he knows there's a time limit, he goes, oh, I've ordered them to the table. So he's not only has he not ordered them to go and eat them in the car on the way like a logical person would, he's decided to have table service, which adds on an extra 20 minutes of faffing. And I was like, you can't do that, Sean. We're going to be late for a wedding. He goes, oh, it's all right. You know, weddings don't start at the time they're meant to. I was like, why do you...
Little did I know.
No, right. How mental is that? If somebody tells you a wedding starts at 2:30, you arrive for, I don't know, 2:20, like a little bit earlier, find your parking, get your bearings, get inside. Sean, somehow in his crazy mind, I don't know what kind of weddings he's used to going to or what his involved, but you say to your guests who arrive at that time, and yeah, usually they probably start, I don't know, 20 minutes after the slotted time that you're given. So I said to Sean, I'm in there, in this fish and chip shop, in front of everyone. I was like,
everyone now has watched Jen storm into the fish and chip shop, dressed to the nines, looking like this stunning movie star character.
Trying to redeem himself. Creep.
They're all watching. And then this conversation ensues where Jen says, we need to go, get your ass off that chair right now. we can just eat this, get it to go, and we'll just eat it in the car. And I say, well, eventually, I say, yeah, that's a good idea. We'll eat
Eventually. Right, after me saying to him, how, like, trying to, he goes, when do you think start like that? When do you think start? There's always plenty of time. I was like, there's not. Like, who does it? Who goes, right, I'm going to send out an invite to everyone for a wedding starting at 1, but I'm going to start at 3:30 just for a laugh. No, it doesn't work like that. He goes, why are you putting time restraints on your life?
So the little old lady on the table sat next to me looks over and says, I went to a wedding recently. It was supposed to start at, what did you say, 3?
Yeah.
And they got married at 3:30. You'll have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Which gave me some false hope. But I did end up agreeing with Jen. And Jen then said, well, where's the food? Where's the food? And I said, he's cooking the food. You need to tell him right now to wrap it up to go. And then we both scream at the man, wrap it up to go. And everybody's watching. And he wrapped it up to go. But the problem then was, because we'd gone from our house and parked on the other side of town, the traffic was gridlocked now throughout the entire town. So we went from running 15 minutes late because of the gridlocked traffic.
Half an hour.
We were running half an hour late. And on the drive there, I'm trying to make up the time. Jen is throwing curried chips into my mouth.
Yeah.
I've got a napkin on my lap.
Right, we'll stop you there. Because Sean, the reason why Sean ordered it to the table not to go was because he, in his own words, I can't eat while driving. And my response was, I'll feed you. I said,
I was worried the curry was going to spill on my suit.
So I put napkins all down his front and was just fork feeding his little chip forks, just shoving chips in his
chips
mouth.
did fly off, but fortunately the curry had diminished by that point, so I didn't get a stain.
Yeah, he didn't get stained because of the napkins I put all down his front, the napkin blanket he was wearing. So we were driving along and we're shoving chips in his mouth. And
I'm casually saying, oh Jen, if they tell you to get there for 2:30, wedding probably won't even start till 4. They have a safety net. They have this big amount of time where people just arrive and everyone just like chills out and gets to know each other and has a drink. Little did I know.
I don't know why. Like he's what exactly? Juanita Weissling said, I can imagine Korean place. Yeah, why order chips and curry sauce when you're wearing a suit anyway? I don't know, because he was planning on sitting down eating it, I guess. And Mr. Biggs the cat said, why didn't you drive? So at one point when I was screaming at him in the chip shop, I did try and work out in my head. My car wasn't there, it was his car near the chip shop, but mine was 10 minutes to walk there at the house. And I did consider walking back because I was in that much of a mood with him and driving myself there.
That's the polite version. So after Jem stormed in the chip shop, everyone looking at her, looking like this wild movie star woman coming in.
Screaming about
dressed to the nines.
You're so selfish.
And then she says,
get your selfish ass out.
I'm just going to go in my car then. Leave you here, you bloody fish and chips.
I was like, what's so important about? Like,
and everyone in the fish shop just went, whoop, and then they look at me, whoop, whoop, whoop. It's like this scene from Maths UK where they're all.
It was dramatic. I said, I don't want to be late for this. Who does this? Who's so selfish that they need curry sauce and chips that you can't just leave them, get in the car and go.
I mean, they were all so invested in what was happening in the fish and chip shop that when he had the food ready and he ran to the counter and gave it to Jen, and Jen just grabs it, she's storming out, and everyone started screaming, enjoy your wedding, enjoy your wedding. It was almost like they were going to go round of applause.
I know, standing ovation. So So no, it was quite a dramatic start. Anyway, so we're in the car, we're stuck in traffic, getting out of the town we live in.
Jen's getting more and more angry because we're stuck in traffic now.
I'm angry.
It's all my fault.
I'm livid. I'm just shoving these chips in his mouth, bitter as hell.
You don't know how stressed out this has made me feel.
Correct. And like, I'm there just shoving the chips in, wishing he'd choke on one.
Almost throwing them at me, trying to get curry on my suit.
But and then we get to we get to the location. We arrive. No one's outside, and that's never a good sign when no one's outside.
All right,
the
so
venue. Everyone's inside, and they're all seated.
I was playing it cool up until this point, right? All the way there, I'm like, Jen, people are gonna be arriving. There's a safety net. There's a fresh, there's plenty of time allocated. And then I think, like, as we arrive. Like, there'll be other people arriving, it'll all be good.
No.
We arrived to deadly silence.
Definitely.
A completely full car park. I look over at the building. I can't see a single soul outside the building having a smoke or lollygagging or anything. I'm thinking, uh-oh, Jen was right. Jen's tension then goes through the roof. We are walking towards this building.
I'm thinking, I can hear.
It's like everything she predicted is now. This is the moment of truth. It is happening. It is unfolding in front of our eyes. And you can hear what?
I couldn't hear music. I could hear talking. So there's my worst fear. The ceremony starting. That's the registrar speaking, and we're going to walk in, all eyes on us, like the Wild Wild West. When you enter the saloon, everyone turns around, looks at the late people, tuts, and thinks, bloody disgraceful, because that's what I think.
So I was saying to Jen, stay calm, it's no big deal, have a laugh. And I know it's a bit cruel, I was finding it a bit funny at this point, because I was trying to fuse the situation with a bit of humour. But Jen wasn't having any of it. She was off the scale, spiked up adrenaline. So we approach the door for this lovely building. It's got like a double doors. And as I look through the glass, I see nearly every row completely full. There's like, in the back right-hand quadrant, there are 2 seats left. So all these people are sat there. So my eyes, I'm scanning the seats. I look to the front. Ziggy's finding it's funny. I look to the front, thinking, have we missed it? Are they getting married at the front right now? And I see the groom stood there. And I look at the groom, and I give him a big smile and a wave. And he gives me a smile and a wave. And I think everything's going to be okay, because I cannot see the bride. I look to the back, no bride. I say, Jen.
Look to the front, no bride.
Jen, let's get those seats at the back. She's like, I'm so stressed out. You go in first. So we go.
So embarrassed. It's embarrassing.
As I walk in smiling and waving at the groom, the whole audience turns to the Johnny-come-latelys, just as Jen had feared in her wildest nightmare. But I'm smiling at everyone. I think it's a fun thing. It's a good atmosphere. Jen's huffing and puffing.
No, I'm not huffing and puffing. I'm walking in and I'm not looking at anyone. My head is firmly placed at that floor and I'm thinking, just get to seat. Like, discreet. Because I'm so embarrassed because of him and chips and effing and curry sauce. Is it that important? That's what I was thinking. Mad.
Now, let's go into slow motion. So, we walk through the double doors. Everyone's staring at us. I'm smiling at the groom. Jen's head is looking down, walk of shame style, embarrassed by coming late. We sit down. There's a couple next to us. I smile at the guy. I made friends with him later on. He's a fantastic story. The girl looks at Jen. We pick up our little leaflets that talk about the wedding, the what's happening. The clock ticks. It is 3 o'clock. Bing, bing, bing. The groom is at the front. The bride walks in, like within seconds of us sitting down. The bride walks in. It was almost as if the hand of fate had held the bride at the back of the room until we walked in. And I turned around in my seat, and here she comes, smiling at me like nothing is wrong. We just hit it right on the nail. And I was so proud of our timing at that moment.
You were just happy that you weren't going to get absolutely crucified. Like, honestly,
Sit down and try the cheeses and you can continue.
So, and then I obviously turned to Sean and gloated almost. I said, if you'd sat in that restaurant like you wanted to and ate those chips and curry sauce, sat down because you couldn't eat by driving, we would have missed it.
You were so right.
I'm always right, and this is the thing Sean needs to realise, is I am always right. Like, if you didn't know.
But what a good story. And the couple who we sat next to, who we made friends with, later on, after the ceremony, when we were talking to them, they said, your timing was immaculate. Like, literally, it was almost as if the wedding, as if they were waiting for you guys to arrive. If it would have been 1 second later, literally the bride would have been walking down the aisle. We wouldn't have even been able to walk in.
Do you know what would have been even worse? Is her walking down the aisle. If we were 1 minute later, her walking down the aisle into us, coming in, looking sheepish as hell. Like, yeah, but no, absolutely not. Sean, you're invited to mine and Ron's wedding, Casabeth said. Now decided, Jen, you can still come. I'll come. Super Lisa said, ha ha ha, Jen, don't be saying you're always right. I am though. Honestly, right. I always think.
See what I can put up with.
No, it's rare that I'm wrong in situations like this. When it comes to timing, I'm immaculate. Like, that's why I hate being late for things. Where Sean is so laid back, Luke about it. We've got a party to go to Saturday, and it's 3-hour drive from here, so it's an engagement party we're going to over in Essex. It's a 3-hour drive, so I've worked out hour by hour how long it will take us, including stops, so we don't turn up late. Now, an engagement party isn't probably as important on timekeeping as a wedding, because it's not like we're going to get there. Right, here's so funny actually. It's not like we're going to get there and we're going to miss a proposal. So, but Sean actually asked me yesterday. We were talking about the engagement party, and Sean goes, "So we've seen a wedding this week. Are we going to see an engagement as well?" I was like, no, Sean, that's not how engagement parties work. Sean actually believed that we're going to a party on Saturday and we're going to see a proposal.
I've never been to an engagement party before.
No, it's just literally we are celebrating the fact that they're engaged. It's not, oh, let's go to the party and he's going to suddenly whip out a ring and get on one knee in front of all of his friends and family.
Are there any speeches and love stories?
I mean, there might be a speech. Yeah.
So my thing is then.
Anyway, back to the wedding.
I said to Jen, "Why are you so phased walking into this room?" And Jen explained what she said earlier, why she was so phased walking through everyone looking at her, why she was looking down. And I said, if you've ever lived in a life and death environment,
goes back to his prison.
Things like this wouldn't phase you. We need to get you some prison time. And then you relax a lot more because you have a new yardstick. In prison, you have to wait for everything, to see a doctor, to get your mail, to get your recreation, sometimes for days on end.
I swear to God, Sean.
And it teaches you patience. And then for the rest of your life, you don't stress yourself out over things. Now, yeah, Jen was right on this occasion.
Always right.
But how much stress did you create for yourself, love?
I had 10 minutes in the car stuck in traffic, and then 5 minutes in the car when we were arriving, so 15 minutes.
Would you rather be wrong and live a stress-free life, or have all these time constraints?
Right, okay, well, when I bury you in the garden, and I've got got to do, if I get caught and do 20 odd years, I'm sure I can get away with manslaughter. Then I will let you know. You can watch down from wherever the afterlife is.
Put a 1 in the chat if you think a bit of prison time would do Jen some good. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that's ridiculous.
Like, is that mummy, baby? Is daddy being silly?
Next thing was, on our seat when we arrived at the wedding, was a bag of confetti. And when the bride, oh, they're all on your side, Jen, no prison time for you. When the bride and groom were walking back down the aisle together, back towards us,
It wasn't the time.
I had my confetti ready to throw in their faces. I was wondering why nobody else was throwing the confetti. And Jen pulled me back and said, "You don't throw the confetti in here, Sean."
Yeah, he was going to just chuck potpourri in bloody, their face for no reason. Imagine that, you just get married, you've got the photographer in front of you and there's just some plonker in the audience, in the crowd, just chucks potpourri in your face. Right, no. Because it was for the photos outside. There were beautiful meadows outside. And we did that sort of really artsy photo opportunity or video opportunity where like the videographer runs through the line of people with the bride and groom following and everyone's chucking confetti. It looks really good.
Ron is saying, to be fair, why didn't you just make Sean a snack pack for the journey?
He did. Ron, have you seen how much this man eats? He had a snack pack as well. He's disgusting. Like once he gets something in his mind, like curry, his favourite food is curry sauce and fish and chips and roast dinner. They are two
Indian curry.
Right. And that. So if once he gets something in his head, he won't let go of it. And he goes tunnel vision. So he tunnel visioned onto his chips and curry sauce. There was no getting out of it. I said when I went in that fish and chip shop and I was seething, I was like, just leave it. I don't care if you paid for it, just leave it. We've got to go. And he couldn't leave it. He couldn't leave his chips and curry sauce. I mean, can
you picture it? We're gonna have to I'll get you a photo of what Jen looked like yesterday, all dressed up in a wedding attendee attire. Can you imagine just regular people sat around these little tables in this fish and chip shop, and this woman just zooms in.
To Ziggy.
Starts blasting me. Where is the chips and curry? Why aren't we taking it in the car? And the little old lady kept saying, yes, take it in the car. You can pull down a a lay-by, and just eat it on a lay-by.
Yeah, she had my bag. This, elderly woman. She was all over that. Yeah. I've got a couple of questions here. Nikki said, when's your wedding? Are we all invited? Do I get to buy a fascinator? If he does manage to trap me, everyone will be invited as witnesses. And definitely fascinated, the bigger the better. ST asked, Jen, do British people wear scarves to weddings? So I call it a scarf, but
the whole situation arose because of this bloody scarf decision, Jen. If you hadn't said, I gotta go to High Street and get a scarf, none of this would happen.
I couldn't find my scarf because we've only lived here 4 months and they were all boxed up when we moved. So I knew there was a shop that's out. They're like silk scarves. They're pashminas. So you put them over your shoulder at weddings. They're not like a wool scarf that you have in the winter. It's just pashmina, I think they're called. And the fascinator is a big thing you put in your hair at like royal weddings. They always have like a hat off. If you didn't notice, like Princess Beatrice and Eugenie had a hat off. They all wear bizarre pieces on their head and the bigger the better, the more bizarre the better. Mr. Binks, the pashminas, they're like a shawl. Just cover your shoulders. It's just, especially if you go in a church, there are rules. Well, I believe there are rules, fashion faux pas. where if you're going into a church, you shouldn't show your shoulders. Like, it's rude. It's rude to God. Did you know that?
No.
A woman shouldn't expose her shoulders. Her tits, fine, but not her shoulders. but no. So then the wedding, we went outside and we did all the photos, which were really nice. We did the meadow scene, and when the drinks were out, and then we got to chatting and we met the lovely Tom. And I'll let Sean tell the story while he's singing.
So Tom is somebody who essentially could be an excellent podcast guest. He's already working in that field. When he was 19, he suffered some derivative of meningitis. He should have got into hospital immediately, but as a lad of 19, he didn't. He resisted. And it was a case where minutes meant everything. So he lost like his arms from here. His legs are the same. He's got hooks where his hands should be. And his skin, he lost a lot of his skin. But he said that, you know, obviously you don't realize it at the time. This is what a wonderful spirit this man is. But going through that, he was in hospital for 2 years. Going through it sent his life in this whole new positive direction, where he's a speaker now. He does TED Talks. He's doing podcasts. And he's here from Australia. So we've invited him and his girlfriend to come over before they go back to Australia. Just have a meal with us. But we might, if he's up for it, see if he's available to do a podcast as well. Because he was so funny, you know. He had this gallows sense of humor about what he'd been through. He's making jokes about having, you know, the hooks and kind of giving us little stories, funny anecdotes of situations he's been in and things that people have said to him. Like, quite often, he tells people, you know, because of the way he looks, people stare at him and ask what's happened. And he says, shark attack. And he says, you should see the shark, what I did to the shark. He said he had one cab driver completely believing that with no limbs, he'd managed to beat off this shark with his bird teeth. Even Ziggy likes that story, don't you, Ziggy? So, yeah, wonderful spirit. I don't know if you, some of you guys saw my podcast with Joel Whitwell, who's also in Australia. I'm going to try and hook Joel up with Tom, but Joel, it's on YouTube if you want to see it. Man born with half a face. And his TED Talk is called One Ear, One Eye, No Worries. And Joel also has got a lovely spirit. They reconstructed his face. They gave him a false eye. And when he was a kid, the dog ate his false eye. So he's got all these stories, again, like really humorous stories that help him get through what's something that must have been really traumatic for him to experience as a young person. Both Joel and Tom, just fantastic spirits with that Aussie sense of humor as well. Both of them great guys. So hopefully we can collaborate with Tom before he goes back to Australia. Binks the cat, that's the Australian way, Sean. Yes, thank you. What a sense of humor from Juanita. That is great of him, dear man. Yeah, I'm just telling him, I told him about Tom, and I'm telling about Joel as well. You met Joel a few times, didn't you, Jen?
Yeah, Joel, he's great.
One ear, one eye, no worries. That's the name of his TED Talk. I helped him structure it. And that's also the name of his book as well. Aussies are a different breed, that's for sure. That's from Sharon.
I love Australians. They're very sarcastic, which is great. We need more sarcasm in the world. Apparently, it's the lowest form of wit.
Sarcasm is the height of an intellectual cripple.
Wow. On that note. So no, and what about the food at the wedding then?
Oh my god, all the way! Now, if you think Jen is a complete hero in this wedding story, think again. All the way to the wedding, and before we set off, Jen says the bride and groom are vegetarians. All the wedding food is going to be Indian food.
I wound
Knowing that Indian food is my near favourite, Sunday rolls perhaps favourite. But so I'm thinking there's going to be all Indian food, levels and levels of Indian food, and then the food started coming out. No, what's it, Tim? You describe it.
It was really nice food, actually.
It was really nice.
So, yeah, no, I thought I'd wind him up on the way there for this fish and chips game. Well, not fish and chips, curry sauce and chips.
The food came out over like an hour or so. They kept bringing a new plate.
Yeah.
So every time they didn't bring an Indian food plate, I'm holding up eating, thinking Indian food's going to come next. But it never did. So we ended up eating a load of mashed potatoes and patatas bravas.
Which suits Sean fine. It was gorgeous. Because the bride and groom are vegetarian, it was predominantly vegetarian dishes, but it started with like nachos and went on to bao buns. The ones, like, they're almost Japanese, aren't they, bao buns? And then it was bread and cheese with the olive oil. Then it was just plate after plate. Gnocchi. There was some really nice gnocchi. There was mushroom ravioli. Basically everything but Indian, which made like kept my heart warm while knowing Sean was suffering, thinking he's gonna get an Indian that never came. But he kept trying to eat all the vegan food, didn't you?
Yeah, there was a lady who had a salad and she ate everything off her plate except for the walnuts in the salad.
So she's put this salad on her plate with the walnuts in. She's ate everything around it and left the walnuts in the middle. She didn't fancy them. Sean started eyeing up these walnuts.
We didn't know for sure whether she was saving them till the end or she didn't fancy them.
But Sean couldn't take his eyes off these walnuts. He was like, I don't know, what was it?
You know what I'm like with nuts, Jim.
So imagine you've never met anyone, like you haven't met this person. Complete stranger, and there's this weirdo on the table opposite you, staring at your plate. Just
with
like,
no shame.
Drool coming from the side of his mouth. I got your walnut. Like, yeah, like a vulture, guys. So, like a vulture circulating. And he's just staring at this woman's plate, and then he's hinting to some of the other guests we're talking to.
Think she's leaving the walnut?
Do you think she's going to leave her walnut? But not once. Like several times he keeps mentioning these walnuts. He honestly wouldn't leave it alone. And then finally, the lady next to me, the French lady, turned around and said, do you want me to ask her for those walnuts? And so eventually he did. And Sean, he scraped the walnuts off this woman's plate. And yeah, you got...
I ate them all, but she kept one. At the end, I said, you've got one left now, you're going to eat that one. And she threw it at me. I'm looking on my suit and my napkin. I couldn't find it anywhere. It bounced off. It must have bounced off me and gone under the table, and I didn't get to eat it.
Such a weirdo.
I was literally heartbroken. I've been watching the last walnut on the plate, thinking that's in the bank. That is, because she's already given me the rest of them. There's no way she's eating that one. Instead of just passing it over the table. I'm scratching around, scrabbling around my lap, looking through my napkin, scanning the floor. Do I get on the floor? Is that a bit too much?
No. And then the dessert came out. Now, Sean, I don't know if I've mentioned on the breakfast show before. Sean has, this weird habit of when he has sweet treats, he gets a massive sugar rush of energy, and then he gets a massive crash and becomes angry, gets sugar rage.
Because I don't eat sugar products unless it's fruit. The only sugary stuff I eat is fruit.
Yeah. So
I don't eat desserts.
And so when the desserts are coming out, they have these beautiful wooden trays coming out, and there was meringue with a bit of fruit, and there was cheesecake, like these tiny bits of cheesecake. And obviously I was all over that, but Sean was like, no, I need the vegan option.
Because Jen knew from Mildred's of Soho what happened last time I had a dessert. What was that dessert I had?
He got angry. The cheesecake, it was like a lime cheesecake.
I had like a spike, a crystal meth spike of energy.
And then on the tray,
and then like a diabetic
crash.
Rage. I got really angry, didn't I?
Yeah, on the train on the way home from London, when he had this cheesecake, he just looked really like peed off. I was like, what's wrong with you? He's like, I don't know, I just feel angry. So it was after then we discovered that he can't have much sugar because, he'll get the crash, he'll get the rage. So it's better just to avoid it. So anyway, the beautiful desserts arrived at the wedding, and Sean eyed up the woman opposite, Walnut Gate, and seen she had a vegan option. Do you know what? I think he just decided he liked the look of it because it was a chocolate brownie and he wanted it. So he called the waitress over, bless her, and said, can I have the vegan option, please? And she was like, is there any reason why you want the vegan
No, I'm Jen, you're jumping ahead.
Go on.
I called the waitress over. I said, can I have the vegan option? And she said, I'll check. And she went to see if there was any extras. Then her superior came out to grill me. And the superior said, you're not registered as a vegan. Why do you want the vegan option? And I said, because I am a vegan. Sorry that I didn't register, but do you possibly have one available? And she said, yes, I do. She believed me.
She believed him. Sean is not a vegan, by the way.
I'm a veggie. I'm almost a vegan, except for cheese and yogurt.
Yeah, but you're not a fully fledged vegan. You don't have your certificate, so he doesn't have the credentials. So he lied to get this chocolate brownie. Yeah, and I said, why do you want it so bad? And he goes, because apparently vegan options have less sugar, so you won't get the rage, you won't get the spike.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
No, you did look a bit angry at some points. Yeah.
No.
So anyway, it was a wonderful day, and the speeches were brilliant. So the best man speech was very intellectually crafted, genius. What was you saying?
Funniest wedding speeches I've ever heard in my life. The best man speech.
Yeah.
That was genius.
And then there were speeches from the family, which were touching and brought one tear to my eye. And they're very emotional. And it all I found it all went quite quickly.
I couldn't believe it. I watched. Last time I looked at my watch when we were entering at 3. I looked at my watch. By the time the desserts were there, it's like 7.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. So then we, oh God, I'm so tired. Yes.
Yeah.
And then it was the band, the live band. They were really good. We all had to dance and did the conga. But Sean did the dad dance. Oh my God, the slow dance. You know when the bride and groom get on the dance floor for their first dance? And it's all lovely. And then they call everyone up and, you know, we all join in. So we did that. Sean gets there. He's just so awkward. We need to
Can't slow down. All I can do is.
I know. So I don't know whether we're going to have to take dancing lessons, like ballroom dancing.
My mum and dad can give us lessons. They're professionals.
Oh, I have to put that video up of them dancing in the park the other day. Yeah, when we went.
I was tested for diabetes, DMI, when I had shingles.
Oh, shingles, yeah.
But they didn't find any diabetes.
Da.
Yeah. The anger from the sugar isn't right after it. I get a rush.
It's like an hour.
It's like I get a rush from the sugar. Like I can feel it, like the drug taking effect. And then the crash from the sugar an hour later is when I get the anger that comes down.
And it gets rage.
So I just avoid it. And I went all my whole life eating sugar products until the SWAT team came. And then for years, I never had any sugar products. And then when I finally tried a sugar product after not having any for years, whoosh, you feel the drug taking effect.
Is sugar the biggest addiction? I've heard sugar is the biggest addiction.
What do you mean in terms of people who are hooked?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably lasted long.
Yeah. No, so it was a beautiful day. The weather was lovely. That's super nice. And bride and groom looked fantastic, didn't they?
Yeah, and we will get some photos up when we get permission.
Yeah, we need permission.
So you can see exactly whose wedding it is, because many of you know this person.
So yeah, and I mean the bride's stunning, absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So he's a lucky man. Definitely. No,
Yeah.
it was not Ron. No. 1,000 likes and Sean will eat a box of fizzy cola bottle. Oh my God, Ron, no. Because I've got to deal with him. He wouldn't sleep. Like, he's honestly like a child. A child, you know when a child actually that's like Sean. So we can't do it. And chocolate, if he wants a burst of energy, he'll have a little square of chocolate just to get a burst of energy. I mean, yeah, it's good fact. Oh my God, that look. You look awful. You look like, no.
Jen, my clothes are just black. They're not part of the...
It's the fact
They're just not part... Nobody's noticing anything. You're just drawing attention.
You look like an undertaker.
I'm like a grey man. No one can notice. An undertaker.
Yeah, you look like an undertaker.
Thinks his autistic daughter is like that with sugar.
Yeah.
Bless your baby, Jen, Ziggy. Bless you, Ziggy. Don't eat Twinkies and honey. You didn't? No, I didn't. I stayed away from Twinkies, honey buns, wham whams, and zoom zooms.
Wham wham, God, they did get crazy with them then. Wham wham, zoom zoom, twink twink. But
Lindt 90% chili chocolate. Ooh.
oh, I feel your sugar pain, Jen. Yeah. See, I've got a real sweet tooth.
Hi, Michael.
Enough's enough. You're terrible.
We've got almost 600 watching worldwide
Hello.
across all platforms. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Nearly afternoon.
Michael has just logged on. Sigmundo.
Ziggy, do you want a cuddle of Daddy?
He does.
Yeah. We'll have to end this stream soon because it's nearly time for Ziggy's nap of the day. But we will be back on Monday from our
Will we
adventures.
now?
Yeah, from the adventures on the weekend. I can guarantee the drive up to Essex.
Oh, they want a dad dance. Can you show them how you do your Hare Krishna dance?
Right, no, let's show you how we slow dance quickly.
Slow dance?
Right, this is hilarious.
Oh, this is going to be embarrassing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
So.
put your arm. Look at the hips on him. Right, now spin round. That's how I get into it. Oh my god, this is disturbing. It's like it's the armour.
So basically, they were going so slow, so I just ended up grabbing Jen and going, woo!
Oh my god.
And there was other people doing it, going that fast as well. So right now it's Jen's turn to show you how she does the kirtan dance. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. See, Jen gets wild in the kirtan, and Ziggy's enjoying watching. And on that note, we hope to see some of you on Monday.
Back at some sort of time once we realise what time we actually go to bed.
And we are back filming tons of podcasts, so lots more content coming. Yes, thank you, Binks, the boomers.
So no, thank you for watching.
Glad you had a laugh, Michael. Cheers, Juanita. Thanks, Ron. Please.